Here are the supplies that you're going to need: the motor oil, filter. I use the impact driver for the covers, ratchet wrench. Raise up the cars or buy one of these ramps for your car. Make sure you set your brakes. Open up the hood, set your hood prop, and remove your oil fill cap. I open up the dipstick tube. Slide a piece of cardboard if you're going to be laying around the floor. Here's the cover you need to remove. There's 3 bolts and 1 tab. You're going to need a 10mm socket for this. Now I use an impact driver to remove it quickly. After you remove the third one, it should fall right off. Here's the oil filter. And here's the drain plug. Slide the catch can right under and position it well and open up the vents. With the plier, you can remove the filter. Once loosened, you can use your hand to remove. Now the trick I do here is I unscrew it until oil starts coming out. I let majority of the oil drip down before I remove it fully. If you remove it too fast, it might splash everywhere. Now you see how I held on to it until most of it comes right out. Now when you put this down on the pan, make sure it's in an angle so it has room for the rest of the oil to drip out. Now for the drain plug, make sure you're using a 6-point socket. A 12-point could damage it. This is a 14mm socket. Now you see I loosen it right here, and I'm going to flick the drain plug out, therefore it doesn't get all over my hand. Now I can do this because my pan is not an open pan. And you could pick up your drain plug right now and wipe it down and have it ready when it's finished dripping. Wipe off the residue. As you can see, the washer is still there. We're going to reuse this washer. Now that it's dripping, majority of the oil have came out. I'm going to screw it back on. After hand tightening, I don't go more than a quarter turn. And that should be the proper torque. Now we're going to go fill the oil filter. Now for the oil filter, I like to put a little bit of oil so it gets all soaked. And because we're installing this filter on the side, I don't want to fill it up too much. I get a little bit of oil and lubricate the O-ring, because if you don't do this, sometimes the O-ring seized into the engine and it's harder to take off. Now you see that little bit amount of oil that came out? If I were to fill the filter all the way up, I would have lost more oil. Now you don't have to tighten this too much, just enough for the O-ring to compress halfway. This tab right here goes at the corner. You can see the arrow. Now here's the arrow that's pointing. I'm going to hand screw the 3 screw first before using my impact gun. Now with the impact gun, you have to be really careful. You have to have really good control so you don't over tighten and strip these, because these are made of plastic. Here's one, second one, and the third one. Make sure it's not loose, and you're done on the bottom. Now here's a little pet peeve of mine. I don't like having an opening that's just poked right through. You don't have much control on pouring. So what I like to do right here is peel it really nicely, so you have a perfectly round opening so the oil can flow better. Now see how I'm having the spout on the top and I slowly roll it. Now this way you have better control and you don't need a funnel. But if you do have a funnel, you don't have to care about this. But this is just one way. If you don't manage to not get a funnel, you can pour it without spilling. It does take some practice, but over time you'll get a hang of it. Now when you're done, you just slowly rock towards, turn it around, and it'll stop. Now here's the thing. A lot of people pour like that, but I pour like this so you have a better angle and you have more control of the oil. When you're done, check the oil. This car needs 4.2 quarts. So what I like to do is I wipe it clean first and I dip it back in. Then I check the oil. If it's close enough, put the dipstick back in, put the cap on, release the brakes, slowly drive your car off the ramp, and reset your brakes. Press the gas a few times to activate the gasoline engine. And recheck your oil after you turn it off. If you need some more, you just top off however much you need. And do this slowly, because if you overfill, you have to drain some. Okay, one last check. Now starting the engine verifies that the oil filter is filled. And if you see oil is between the two dots, you have a good oil level. Make sure the oil cap is tight. Now you can close the hood. And resetting the oil light, you're going to be using this pad. Just go to the settings, which is the gear shape. Scroll all the way down. You're going to see vehicle settings, maintenance system, and then you go oil maintenance. Then it'll ask you if you want to reset your oil. Click yes and you're set. That's it. Thank you.